Hello everyone, myself Rajiv Shukla, and today we will discuss the one of the very important topic, that is freedom. This is the chapter 2 of the political science. So let us discuss about what the freedom is and what it means to a society. Okay, first of the chapter, the first of the page, you can see there are two pictures. One is of Nelson Mandela, and second one is Aung San Suu Kyi from Myanmar. Okay, this is just for the information. Okay, so in this chapter, we will discuss about what the freedom is and how it helps to achieve a prosperous society. Okay, so after understanding this chapter, we will able to that understand that the importance of freedom for individuals and society. Okay, as I told you that we will understand that what is the freedom for individual and for the society, how it is benefited to the society as well as individuals. And second one is explain the difference between negative and positive dimension of freedom, because as you know that every coin has two faces. Same case with the freedom also, that it has its negative as well as its positive consequences. So the third one, we will discuss about the what is meant by the term harm principles. Okay, so this is one of the principle related to the freedom, one of the theory which we will discuss later. So so uh, under the first point, the ideal of freedom, that here you can read that Nelson Mandela is titled Long Walk to Freedom. In this book he talked about his personal struggle against the apartheid regime in South Africa, about the resistance of his people to the segregationist policies of the white regime, about the humiliations, hardship, and police brutalist, and that is brutalistic, suffered by the black people of South Africa. So, as it is told that you can see this book, The Long Walk to Freedom by Nelson Mandela. Okay, Nelson Mandela was a famous was and also was called the Gandhi from South Africa. So he has done a lot for South Africa. So in this book he has stated many kind of struggles he did. He suffered many in that struggles for the freedom in South Africa. As you know that apartheid system was there in South Africa, and there was a very brutal, very high level of humiliations was suffered by black peoples from the white peoples. So Nelson Mandela has suffered a lot to abolish this kind of apartheid system. So later on, we'll discuss that in this book he has discussed that Nelson Mandela has spent 28 years of his life in jail, often in solitary confinement. Actually, a long time. It was a long time, approx 28 years. He was in the jail by that government. He was jailed by the government. And what the term is solitary confinement, uh, it is a method of jailing a person, that he has to separately lock up in a room, and there is no kind of things uh, एक्चुअली क्या होता था कि उनको किसी से मिलने भी नहीं दिया जाता था। तो एक तरीके का सॉलिटरी कन्फाइनमेंट ये है कि एक उनको अलग से ही एक रूम में रखा जाता था, किसी भी तरीके का सोशल से कोई कांटेक्ट नहीं उनका होने दिया जाता था। तो इस तरीके का उनको बोलते थे सॉलिटरी कन्फाइनमेंट। Okay, so next on the next page, we can see that Gandhi's thoughts on non-violence have been a source of inspiration for Aung San Suu Kyi as she remained under house arrest in Myanmar, separated from her children's, unable to visit her husband when he was dying of cancer because she feared that if she left Myanmar to visit him in England, she would not be able to return. Aung San Suu Kyi saw her freedom as connected to the freedom of her people. Her book, the of essay bears the title "Freedom from Fear." She says, For me, real freedom is freedom from fear, and unless you can live free from fear, you cannot live a dignified human life. सो इस बुक में उन्होंने एक्चुअली क्या, आंग सान सू की बहुत ज़्यादा गांधी जी की थॉट से प्रभावित थी, बहुत ज़्यादा इंस्पायर्ड थी नॉन वायलेंस की थॉट से। सो आंग सान सू की को कई सारे अवार्ड पीसफुल के मिले हुए थे बहुत ज़्यादा। तो इनको क्या किया था, हाउस अरेस्ट किया हुआ था। तो ये उस समय अपने बच्चों से या अपने हस्बैंड से भी मिल नहीं पा रही थी, जो कि इंग्लैंड में थे उस समय पे। तो ये क्या था कि उन्होंने ये बात कही थी कि फॉर मी रियल फ्रीडम फ्रॉम फियर, मतलब अपने डर से ही आज़ाद होना ही हमारी फ्रीडम है। अगर जब तक हम इस चीज़ को नहीं पा पाते हैं, जब तक हम इस चीज़ को नहीं अवेल कर पाते हैं, तब तक हमारी फ्रीडम नहीं होगी। सो लेटर ऑन वी विल डिस्कस दैट व्हाट इज़ फ्रीडम। ओके, सो अभी हम लोगों ने देखा कि जैसे कि अभी नेल्सन मंडेला ने कई सारे जितने भी वहाँ पे गवर्नमेंट के भारतीय सिस्टम था, ह्यूमिलिएशन था, कई तरीके की जो सिस्टम्स थे उनके खिलाफ उन्होंने लड़के एक फ्रीडम हासिल की, साउथ अफ्रीका को आज़ाद कराया, साउथ अफ्रीका के लोगों को इन सब चीज़ों से आज़ाद कराया। तो ये सारी चीज़ें थी कि अब हम डिस्कस करेंगे कि व्हाट इज़ फ्रीडम। दैट ओके, दैट एब्सेंस ऑफ कॉन्स्ट्रेंट इज़ ओनली वन डायमेंशन ऑफ फ्रीडम। ओके, कि कॉन्स्ट्रेंट मीन्स एक तरीके की बंदिशें, यानी कि एक तरीके का रोक। अगर हम लोग कहते हैं कि ये सिर्फ एक डायमेंशन है कि सोशल जो कॉन्स्ट्रेंट होती हैं, कि सोशल जो बंदिशें हैं कि हमारी, कि उन चीज़ों को ये चीज़ नहीं करनी है, वो चीज़ नहीं करनी, ये सिर्फ एक एस्पेक्ट है इसका। इस चीज़ को, फ्रीडम को हम सिर्फ इससे एलेबरेट या इलस्ट्रेट नहीं कर सकते। फ्रीडम इज़ ऑल्सो अबाउट एक्सपैंडिंग द एबिलिटी। तो फ्रीडम क्या है कि एक अपने आप की एबिलिटी को बढ़ाना, यानी कि अपने आप की जितने भी, अगर कोई पर्सन चाहता है कि कोई चीज़ अवेल करना चाहता है तो वो उसको कर सके, तो ये चीज़ भी हमारी क्या है, ये हमारे फ्रीडम के अंदर आता है। अब अभी हम एक टाइटल देखेंगे कि स्वराज, जो हमारा बाल गंगाधर तिलक ने एक लॉन्च किया था, एक पॉलिटिकल कैंपेन था। तो स्वराज का मतलब ही था कि स्व यानी कि सेल्फ, और राज मीन्स रूल, यानी कि गवर्न बाय देम सेल्फ। तो ये भी एक तरीके का इंडिया के ज़रिए लॉन्च किया हुआ एक मोमेंट था, जो काफ़ी ज़रूरी था। और ये भी एक तरीके का फ्रीडम, इंडिया की फ्रीडम के लिए बहुत ज़्यादा ज़रूरी था। तो अभी हम देखेंगे, okay, that why do we need constraint? Okay, as we have discussed that okay, we want, a society wants some kind of freedom, society want a high level of freedom, but there is a need of constraint, there is a need of social constraint, that without any kind of obligations, without any kind of constraint, a society will be chaotic. Okay, so there will be a chaos, as you can read that we need some constraint or else society would be descend into chaos. So what if there is no constraint, that there, okay, a person in a society will do whatever he or she is willing to do. So that society will not be ideal. That society will not be good for everyone. Okay, so there is a need of constraint. There is a need of some kind of obligation, social obligations or social constraint in the society. Okay, but the creation, as you can read, but the creation of such a society too requires some constraint. At the at the very least, it requires be that we be willing to respect differences of views, opinion, and beliefs. Okay, so as we have discussed that there is some requirement of constraint for the society. Okay, at the least it requires that respect differences of views. Okay, as you know that every person has some different opinion, that that different opinions, views, and beliefs. So in a good society, having some constraint, we are we have to respect the different views and opinions and beliefs. Okay, that is harm principle. Okay, so what is harm principle? That we also have engaged with another issue that John Stuart Mill stated so adequately in that eloquently in his essay on liberty in the discussion in the political theories is called the harm principle. Let us cut his statement and then try to explain what the statement was there. Okay, there was one book which was one essay which was written by John Stuart Mill. The title of the essay was Essay on Liberty. Okay, okay, prevent to actually the as we have to read this, that the statement, the sole end for which mankind are wanted individually or collectively in interfering with the liberty of action of any of their numbers is self protection. That the only purpose for which power can be rightfully exercised over any member of civilized community against his will is to prevent harms to other. Okay, what he wanted to say, that you can achieve freedom, but up to the mark, up to the level where others are not getting affected. You are having the freedom, you can do whatever you want, but up to the case or up to the line where others are not getting affected. So what he wanted to say, that you have some sort of freedom, but where others are not getting affected. So that the state external has no business of interference. Okay, okay. In the next para, Mill introduces her an important distinction. He distinguished between self-regarding actions, that is those actions have consequences only for the individual's actor and nobody else, and other regarding actions, that those actions that also have consequences for others. Okay, so what I have what we have discussed is that there is sort of difference, there is a lot of difference between two kind of action. That one action is only just for you, it only affects an individual, but on the other hand, there are some that there are some kind of actions which affect the other society and other peoples, are people of the society. So just like okay, you want to choose your job, you want to go to somewhere, it only affects you, that whatever you want to wear, then you can do that because it is the matter of your choice. But if you are driving carelessly, if you are driving if you are driving very harmfully on the road, then it can affect to others. So there are two kind of actions. So this have to be considered. Okay, on the next. Okay, so there are negative and positive liberty. As we have discussed that there are two faces of every coin. So that freedom as the absence of external constraint, and freedom as the expansion of opportunities to express oneself. Okay, so in the political science, these two terms, okay, which we have discussed, these two terms are called the negative and positive liberty. The negative liberty seeks to define and defend an area in which the individual would be inviolable, in which he or she could do, be, or become whatever he or she wished to do, be, or become. Okay, so this is an area in which no external authority can interfere. In the minimum area, that is scared, in which whatever the individual does is not be interfered with. Actually, here it is stated that that if anybody wants to do something which can only affect to himself, that themselves, then it is not the matter to interfere. The state or that government should not interfere in that matter. It is the matter of his or her own choice. Okay, so okay, so this is very important, that freedom of expression, from past few years, and from few that past decades, this is a very interesting matter to discuss, that freedom of expression. That freedom of expression should be there in the liberal government, or freedom of expression is good for the society or not, it is the matter of discussion. So that this is the case, the book Ramayana, which was retold by that Abraham Manon, and the satanic verses what's by Salman Rushdie, were banned after protest from some sanctions of society. The film, okay, and the film The Last Temptation of Christ, and the play Me Nathan Bolte were also banned after protests. Okay, so these are some good examples for that freedom of expression. That if anyone wants to convey their views and beliefs with the help of some sort of books, or that books and films, or dramas, so it should be banned. If some sort of society or the group of people is not agree with that belief, then it should be banned or not, it is a matter to discuss. That banning, okay, let's discuss that. Okay, if you are banning that if you are banning that act or film or book, it is temporary, it is temporarily, it is good for the society, that you are preventing some kind of chaos in the society. But on the other hand, that banning is an easy solution for the short term, since it meets the immediate demand, but is very harmful for the long term prospects. Okay, so as we are discussing, that it is good that you are banning, but it is good for short term, but it is not good for the long term, because you are banning someone's belief or thoughts, that maybe it is right or wrong, that is truth or not, and you are just preventing the right of expression. Okay, so you are just capturing, you are just preventing that right, so that is not good for the long term society. Okay. Okay, and that freedom of expression about that John Stuart Mill has stated some things that first, no idea is completely false. What appears to us as false has an element of truth. If we ban false idea, we would lose that element of truth that they contains. Okay, what John Stott wants to convey, that every idea, that if anybody is stating some idea, that must be based on some kind of truth, that must be having some kind of uh, essence of truth. If you are banning that idea, then you are just killing that essence. Okay, that essence or that truth behind that concept. So this is also an that also a part of that banning. Okay, so what we have discussed, that we begin with the saying that freedom is the absence of external constraint. Okay, we have we have now come to realize that freedom embodies our capacity and our ability to make choices. And when we make choices, we have also to accept responsibilities for our actions and their consequences. So what we have discussed is that freedom is what absence of external constraint, that nobody is just interfering in our matters. But if we are doing something, and if that is harmful for the society, we should not do that. And if we whatever we are doing under the umbrella of freedom, then we have to responsible for that. We have to responsible for our own actions and its consequences. If it is not banned, or it is not it is not that stopped by the government or society, we all have to understand its consequences, and it is good for the society or not. We have to bear the responsibility of that also. So this is all about this freedom chapter. So these are the exercises which you have to discuss. Okay, so so these are the exercises. You just take the screenshot, and I'll provide the answers as well. So let's try to do it, and I'll provide the notes of this chapter, as well as the question answers and MCQs of the chapter later on. Okay, up to then, take care. Goodbye.